Former Formula One driver and the first Malaysian to race in F1 back in 2002, Yoong is presently in India to participate in the X1 Racing League. The 43-year-old in an exclusive chat talks about X1 Racing League in India and the similarities with the motorsports scene in India and back in his homeland.
That's right. So this is my second trip to Delhi. I can't remember what year I came from Formula One as part of Fox Sports. And I've been to Chennai as well. My son races Formula 4, so I've been there the last 2 years to watch him. I love India. It's really good to be here.
You said you love India.
With the successful franchise model in cricket, Yoong believes it will work in motorsports as well.
Yeah, I don't spend enough time here to know if that's going to happen or not. Definitely, you see the franchise model works so well with the cricket. So hopefully it can work here with motorsports. I think the main thing also is we need more programs like this where it's accessible to grassroots racing. I think that the X1 racing is also having the esports thing around it, which is very important. We need to make it more accessible. The great thing about cricket is it is accessible. And motorsports isn't quite accessible. So we need to try and make that more accessible, and I think X1's the perfect way to do it.
Talking about the similarities of motorsport scene in India and Malaysia, Yoong said,
Yeah, Malaysia's gone through this whole program already, right? We had motorsports for just short of 20 years. And in my opinion, motorsports, Formula One was a great marketing exercise. Did a lot for putting Malaysia on the map. The whole world knew where Malaysia was through Formula One. Well, not just Formula One, but a lot to do with Formula One. But for local motorsports, it did nothing for it. Nothing at all. There was hardly, we didn't see any more new venues, no more new teams. Because I did it, we saw some new karters come into the sport, but not many, 15 karters maybe, which is just not enough. If you're going to stimulate growth, you need local motorsport, you need programs on the ground. You need more venues. China knows this. China's the only one in the region I'm seeing who's really doing this well, I feel. It's a new country in the fact that there are a lot of first generation, second generation car owners. Motorsports is relatively new to it compared to the rest of the world. But they've recognized this. They've got about 15 to 18 tracks now. In about 3 years, they'll be up to 30. And they have the big Formula One track, which I guess every track needs. In Formula One, it's Shanghai in China. In India, you got Bud here in Delhi. But we need more Grade 2 and Grade 3 tracks. Those are the touch points, that accessibility to get more people to see, participate, and fall in love with the sport.
The Malaysian refused to call the 2011 Indian Grand Prix, which was held at the Bud International Circuit, a mistake.
Mistake or not, that's not for me to say. There'll be matrices that obviously the government would have wanted to know and achieve, and I don't know if they achieved that. Was it too early for it to be sustainable? Definitely. It's definitely.
Yoong has an old association with India and Indian drivers, especially India's former F1 driver Narain Karthikeyan.
Yeah, obviously I know Narain really well. We came up together, banging wheels in the junior formula. I know Karun very well as well. India's lucky, they've got a lot of good drivers. A lot of the youngsters coming through now are very good as well. You've got an abnormal amount of youngsters coming through that are all capable of doing well in Formula One. So on that side, that's looking quite bright. It's not a lot compared to some European countries, but compared to most Asian countries, you've got a lot of good Formula One prospects.
Alex, who has raced in a variety of cars and in many different championships across the world, speaks about what it takes to be a good F1 driver.
At the moment, it is. It's a world championship, but it's very much Eurocentric. You have to grow up in Europe. You have to understand the intricacies of racing in that culture, knowing which teams to be with, because ultimately also your results are going to be limited by how good a team you are in. So you have to know that, and you have to learn how to race against the best in the world, and the best in the world are in Europe.
But do you see India?
And he believes India can produce many F1 drivers.
Yes, they already have produced F1 drivers. They've had produced two. I think you will produce a lot more F1 drivers than the rest of Asia, not compared to, say, Germany or England. Yes.